This is the second episode about moving out. I wanted to make only one episode, but after only half of the topics, I was already speaking for 45 minutes. So, in this one, you're searching for some tips on how to navigate life in a new city, and you want to learn how to deal with homesickness. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Big Sister Chats. Before we dive into the episode, there's a small chapter called If We Were Having Coffee. This is our format where I tell you a little bit about me and how my life is going right now. It's inspired by a newsletter from The Bliss Bean, if anybody knows her. But now, if we were having coffee, I would tell you that I saw Hosier. He came to play at an open air concert in Zurich, and I had bought the tickets already back in December after I visited one of his shows in Vienna. This one was at least as magical as the first one. And this time, I even get some merch. And I'm so happy. It's so cute. I would tell you that I was planning the rest of my year and I decided to put more effort into my novel again. As you maybe know, if you've listened to the past episodes, I'm now at draft 3, and so far I haven't written anything except the prologue. The goal is to write 100,000 words in the span of 6 months. Sounds like a lot, but if I take 2 days off per week and write for 5 days, I only need to write about 600 words each day. And that's like 20 minutes for me. So, okay, 20 minutes if I know what I'm gonna write about. So, that's that. And I would tell you that I finally booked my travels. When you hear this, I'm already back. Of course, I had to pre-record some episodes because I'll be in Marseille for a week and then I'll go to Croatia for another week before celebrating my birthday at home with my family. And now, if we were having coffee, I would also love to hear your stories. So head over to Instagram at podcast_Big Sister Chats and let me know what's been going on in your life lately.
I swear.
Welcome to Big Sister Chats, the podcast where we dive into all things mental health, physical well-being, and cultivating a positive mindset. Whether it's about growing in life or tackling everyday challenges, I've got you covered. Growing up with 3 brothers, I always wished I had another woman to turn to for advice. If you've ever felt the same way, you're in the right place. Let's get started with today's episode. First, how to settle into your new place. The most important thing. Do not bring everything from your old home. I cannot stress this enough, but my first home felt like a mirror to my children's room because I had brought everything. My sheets, my pictures, even the wardrobe was similar, like white, made out of wood and with doors that I could open. And I always wanted one with sliding doors, and so that's that, it's so similar. Don't make that mistake. Ask your parents what they can keep for you if you're moving out from your parents' house for the first time. And maybe she can, or they can. I was just thinking about my mom. So she kept a lot of things in boxes just down in the basement. We donated some stuff too. So that's nice, And there's certain things you just don't want to bring, but you also don't want to throw away. So maybe that's a good middle way, I think. Just be smart about what you're bringing. Maybe you can not afford to buy like 10 new towels because they're expensive and there are so many other things, so you can bring them from home. But, if they don't feel like you, if they're like bright pink and everything in your house is like minimalistic, it's okay to eventually change them against white, grey, black, whatever you want, You can also, when you're moving out, take some time to prepare. It's such a nice feeling also knowing, okay, it's hard too. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of effort. Moving is a hell lot of effort. But it's also really fun if you have this new room, it's maybe empty or only some things in it, and then you can go and find some inspo, like stay on Pinterest for an hour or 2 or 5, And I don't know, I always loved like this nature-ish aesthetic, like green and brown mixed together. And I remember when I was still living with my mom, she would always water all the plants that were standing in my room, but basically they were her plants, And I was always told, like, no, you cannot take care of plants and they'll die and whatever. And now here I am in my own room and I'm slowly growing my little plant family, and they're really much alive. I mean, they're not. One of them was almost dying last week. She's not looking so great, but okay. Out of that, they're all good. And I mean, in here, there's still a lot to be done until things will fully feel like me. I'm still missing some decor elements, like painting or something. I'm still missing something. But I'm also not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry. And I also wanted to save some money in the beginning to find something that really feels nice. And I can live in here just well. I just need a good bookshelf that fits in here. And as said, like a painting or something. Yeah, like that. But the same goes for you. You don't have to do everything like on the first day. Save some money. Don't rush things. You'll be fine. I think I already mentioned this in like the first episode about moving out. You can throw a welcome party, for like people from your old home, if it's not too far away, or even more interestingly, from not sure, people from your new space, That would be really nice, like uni friends, work colleagues, flatmates, maybe, or just by yourself. And I mean, if it's the first night you're sleeping in your new apartment, maybe it's your apartment and you're not sharing it, and you're like, I don't know, 10,000 miles from home, or it feels like that. You can always call your loved ones and show them around. I think it would be really nice to have some cake and candles, like a birthday for your apartment. Yeah, that would be cute. My next advice is take a few times before work, because I didn't do that. I didn't do that for my first job and for my second job. Even when I was going to school, I was like in something like a boarding school. And also that I was literally moving in the day before I started school. And then I came like the day before I first started work here. And then actually I was starting working in another city. And I was still driving from one city to the other. And I was searching for a flat while I was still, already working. And it took me about 3 weeks to find something I could move into, which meant I had to go to work, drive each day like 2.5 hours per way, which added up to like 5 hours. Yeah, that was horrible, and I don't know why I didn't just take time between jobs, because I had like a week, I think, in between at least. I could have just searched for apartments before and then moved in the week that I didn't have work to do, and then just take 2-3 days for myself and get to know the city. Because when you're here and once you found your way, you always take the same bus to work, you always walk the same way to school, you have those 1-2 supermarkets you go to and some other stores maybe, or places that you like, but it's so seldom that you're really going and exploring the city. And sometimes I'm just thinking like, where does this bus line go to? And then I wonder if I should just hop on, but I never do. I should probably. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you have the chance, get there a little bit early and check out your surroundings. Only later, when I was already living here, people were telling me like, hey, you're actually living in a really nice area and there is a lot of like social things around you, like concert halls and bars and clubs and really nice cozy restaurants and all of that. But I didn't know. Actually, if they hadn't told me, I probably wouldn't have known. But okay. So that's the same for you. Find things to do, like what's going on around you. You can also, I'm sure each city has like newsletters that they are sending out weekly at least for like museums, new theater pieces and clubs and festivals like that. That's nice. Then you know what events are going on right now, because sometimes you just don't know about certain places and they're just 10 minutes away. But I also mean like coffee shops or also bars and so on. I was actually thinking that I should really make an effort and try one new coffee shop each week, because they all look so nice around here. And if I'm honest, I'm sometimes rotting in my apartment, especially on Saturdays. I don't know why that is. Like Sundays, at least I have like cleaning days, and then, that's a lot to do also. And time flies, And then I'm a little bit productive, working on this, working on that, and the day's over. But on Saturdays, I don't have to do anything. It's like the most rest day I have. I don't have to go to the gym. I really don't have to do anything. And if I don't make plans to do something with my friends, my screen time this Saturday was like 8.5 hours. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is problematic. We gotta do something about it. And I know if I'm going to a coffee shop and if I make an effort to go to a coffee shop, then I'll do something productive. I won't just be on my phone doing basically nothing important at least, and I can go and work on my projects. And I like them, I don't know, maybe I was thinking about doing like reels about them, but I'm not sure yet. Because then also, it's not a big city. I'm not sure. Let's see. Anyways, we were somewhere completely different. So, I still have here, with trying new places, the best thing when you're moving into a new city is that nobody knows you. So, you can basically do whatever you want in these first days because nobody knows you. And if you go to a coffee shop and you don't like it, say ciao ciao and that's it, Yeah. And I think it's also easier to find like your hobbies in your area. Like if you have those 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, however long you're taking before you're starting to work or uni, school, whatever, you can also like find a gym, like the best one that I have for the price that you want. There's many, and you can always go and try. They mostly have like one free trial day, so that's nice, and then just see what's the nicest. You can see, like, go to a yoga class, maybe language class, who knows. I'm sure there's something that you're interested in. I know in the city I lived in before, there were like boxing classes, and I would have been really interested in that, but they don't have it here yet. So maybe if they're also coming to this city, I will try that, because why not, Yeah. And I think it's the same for many. Oh, here there's also, I've just found that out, there's a dance studio, like right next to my apartment. And yeah, I really want to try that. But if I had been living here for longer, I would have probably known it a lot sooner. Yeah, so most places have a first free trial lesson, even yoga classes and dance classes and boxing classes. So try as much as you can and then decide what you want your hobby to be. Yes. Good. Back to moving. I would try to make a list on your phone of everything that needs to be done. And I would do that beforehand. Like now, if you know you'll be moving in 3 weeks, you could do that now. And of course, there's big things you will put on there, like furniture, buy it, move it, whatever. But I have notes on my phone that say things like, put up the flying bookshelf, so that it's not just standing around, but that I know, okay, I still have to put it up. Does it make any sense? I also included like buy 2 more towels, because I realized that with the ones that I had, it doesn't really fit in my routine. I needed 2 more so I can have a good washing cycle. And you can just put everything on there that you need and that you need to do also, because it's not only buy a new bed and build the bed. It's, for example, also don't forget the 200 photos that you brought and hang them up nicely, or buy some new plants in this and that size for this and that room. So that, yeah, it's just, I think it's also coming together anyways, but still. You can also check like Pinterest or I guess Google too, and just type in like moving out checklist, something like that, or to-dos, whatever. Pinterest is just nice because they have it in this beautiful pictures and I really, really like it. But also, Google works just fine. And I think there's also a lot of tips and a lot of things that you shouldn't forget, especially again if you're moving abroad, like bank account, insurance, mail, transportation with car or public transport, and I mean everything related to the apartment. And yeah, that's that. And then I feel like if you're moving far away from home, maybe to a place where you know nobody, it can be really, really hard to make friends. And again, this depends on the circumstances. Sometimes work colleagues can be best friends too, and sometimes people are too reserved for that, even at university. I think we cannot touch on that now because we still have to talk about feeling guilty and homesick. But if you think you'll have problems making friends, or you've already moved into your new place and now you realize it's kind of hard to make friends, go back and listen to episode 1 of Big Sister Chats, because there I was speaking about being lonely and how I made friends around here as an introvert. Okay, now that we got that, let's talk about feeling guilty and homesick. I could talk about this forever because I was moving out so early. Okay, I didn't fully move out. I was always coming home on Friday and going back to boarding school on Sunday, or to my first shared flat also, same. But at that time, I was feeling homesick a lot. And do you know when I was homesick most often? During exam phase. Whenever I felt overwhelmed with my studies, I wanted nothing more than to be home in my living room watching a TV show with my mom. So, I get you. Even if you're a grown up person, it will happen, most likely. The good thing is, it will pass. And it will be one horrible evening. You're gonna call your mom. You're gonna cry. She's gonna comfort you. And when the tears are dried, you will laugh with her and go to bed. Or something along those lines. Bad days are part of life. They will go by, I'm sure. And if they don't, if this feeling of homesickness is going on and on and on, and it's not just one evening, it's not just during these 2 weeks of exams, then consider going home, wherever home is for you. Most likely there'll be an option for you, so you can do that. If it means missing a few days from school, or asking to do a week of home office at your job, you can do it. My mom always said, if it's really bad, just take the next plane, no matter the cost. Until now, her voice was always enough, and I could get through the homesickness by calling her, crying to her, but knowing I could be with her in a couple of hours if it would have gone really, really bad, that did help, knowing, okay, maybe the flight will be 600, 800, but then I'll be home, if it's really bad. And I mean, there could be situations where you cannot go home and you cannot call home, or maybe you do not want to. Just know it's okay to cry, and it actually helps. Sometimes it happens that I cry for like half an hour and then I'm fine again. And that's not always how it works, but sometimes there's like a lot of negative energy inside me and it grows so big and overwhelming, and then it just overflows and I let it. But I can tell you, people help a lot. If you're not feeling the best, try distracting yourself, and I don't mean TikTok or any of that, but call a friend, meet somebody, go out. All of that is better than sulking in your room for half the night or suppressing emotions by watching some cat videos online or whatever your TikTok algorithm brings. After I moved far from home, I also experienced something that I had never felt before, because now I was not going back home every weekend, every other weekend. There was this weird kind of guilt for just not being there. I was not there when my best friend got her driver's license. I was not there for New Year's. I wasn't even there for my two of my birthdays. And I was not there when my niece asked for me over and over and over again, and all my mom could say was, "Oh, she's working." And that really hurts. I'm still not sure how to deal with that pain. And after crying to my mom again, thanks to her, I don't know how often that woman saw me cry. She always has the best advice, and even if she's just listening to me, like, thank her for all of that. But the only thing that she could say was, "You are now living your life and you're doing what you love, aren't you?" And that really, it opened my eyes in some way, because sometimes you just need to hear it. And she said, they are appreciating the time that you're here, and it wouldn't be as special if you were here all the time. And then she said, we don't blame you. And that helped. And I cried again when she said that. And it's still hard knowing I will be going home less and less. And maybe, I don't know, in some years, maybe I'll only go back home for Christmas and Easter and once in summer or something like that, like 3 times a year. Who knows? I can just tell that I'm not going home as often anymore. And I also know that I'll be missing a lot of things from my siblings, from my family, from my friends. And sometimes I wish I could be closer, so I could just hop into the car and drive there, be there in an hour if they needed me, you know? But I also know that I would not be happy. I would not be happy in that small town working an average job, and they know that too. I think the most guilt I have is for the children in my life, like my cousins and so on, when they're asking for me. And it's hard to explain to a 5-year-old why you're suddenly not there anymore. It will take them some time to understand that. And maybe, I don't know, somebody even has advice on that, because I'm still struggling, and that's okay. I mean, I've accepted it as far as I can, but sometimes when, like, we're calling and I hear them and they're asking, like, hey, when are you around the next time? And I genuinely don't know. Sometimes that still really, really hurts. But with everybody who's older, the good thing is that we can always call each other. Maybe we're not doing it as often as we would like. And of course, I would know much more about their day-to-day life if I was there, but I'm not. And I stopped feeling guilty about this. Or at least I'm working on it, you know? So whenever I do feel guilty about not being there, I speak about it. I call them and say, hey, I know it's your birthday next week, but I was just home a few weeks ago and I can't drive all that way this soon again. I'm feeling very bad about this. I'm feeling very guilty because I want to be there because it's your, I don't know, 25th birthday, and I know you would like me to be there and I would also like to be there, but it's just not possible. Or maybe actually I don't want to because it's a lot of time commitment and also a lot of money spent just for being there for 48 hours. And let's say normally they will comfort me and tell me that they are just fine with that and they can understand that. And then we are again talking over the phone for another hour, and I'll call them for their birthday and it's fine, you know? The people who really love you won't make you feel bad. And of course, some friendships will suffer, some might even end, but it's alright. You don't need to be friends with everybody. And of course, I miss like my girls from when I was back in school, but at the same time, I cannot maintain all of my friends back there and here in my new town. When I come back for a week, I try meeting up with everybody that's important to me. And I mean, after 3 months apart, there's a lot to chat about. And yeah, that's really nice. Some friends even call me out of the blue when I'm not home for a long time, like randomly once a month. And that's basically it. And that's the time we're talking. And then we won't hear each other for another month until somebody's on their way home and thinks, oh, I haven't talked to her or him in a long time. And then, yeah, you know, some I don't see anymore, except like by coincidence if we meet at the supermarket when I'm back home or when I'm going to a party or something. and then we're having a drink and a small chat, and we catch up, and then we part again, and that's alright too. Again, we already talked about making and losing friends and accepting to let go of friends back in episode 1. Now, let's recap what we have talked about today. First, it's completely normal to feel homesick every now and then. Sometimes you can battle the feeling by calling your loved ones, and sometimes you just have to go back home and there's no other way. Or you try to talk it out, meet some friends and do some nice activities in your new city to distract yourself in a good way, and everything is alright. Feeling homesick and crying is alright. And the second one is you will most likely miss out on some big events happening back home. And it will hurt like hell at first. Just make the best out of it, because you know you're doing this for yourself. Talk to people, speak about your feelings, and you'll be fine. Both feeling homesick and feeling like you're missing out on something are feelings that you can work on. The most important thing is that you're communicating, and as said, it's okay to feel these feelings, but remember that you're in this new city because you want more of life. So, these were all my tips and tricks on moving out from home, part 2. I hope you liked this episode. If you did, leave a rating so others can find this podcast too, and consider subscribing so you never miss a new episode. Be sure to head over to Instagram at podcast_bigsisterchats for some more insights into my life and content all around physical and mental health and growing in life. See you there. Bye!